With the power of AI, you can make your marketing come alive. Just with a few clicks of a button, you can turn a marketing campaign from good to great. Join us for the revolution. With artificial intelligence, let's make your marketing come to life. CEOcoffee.com.
Welcome to the Koffe Brown Show, where we stir up conversations as rich as your morning coffee.
What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of the Koffe Brown Show. Super excited. We got a whole house full of amazing people in the building on tonight. And it's so exciting to be back in the saddle with everybody for the show tonight. So welcome, welcome, welcome. How is everybody doing? What's poppin', y'all?
I'm doing amazing. I'm so happy to be back with the crew.
Yes.
So I miss you guys.
Yes. Vincent, what's going on with you?
Man, I'm just happy to be here. Glad Dupria graced us with her presence.
I know, right?
She's abandoned us for a while.
You abandoned me.
Yeah, man. We were happy to have her back.
We had to prepare for the new year, the 2026. We had to get in preparation the right way.
Yeah. And 2026, like coming in and leaving.
Listen.
Yeah.
We already in February.
Like, where did January? Did January just like forget that it was supposed to stay for a little while?
Time has been speeding up like
time is going by too fast.
Yeah, like
I'm convinced when we're taking naps or resting at night, somebody is speeding up the time.
Like pushing the magic button somewhere.
It's like, you know what's really funny? It's like, I don't know if it's anybody else. It seems like we do not have night anymore.
Yeah.
No.
When I say it goes by like at the blink of an eye, man, I'm like, dude. The next thing I know, it's 4 o'clock every day.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, come on. And I'd be racing, trying to finish my day so I can relax early.
Hey.
So it seems like I can have a longer, evening or night, but it's still a work in progress.
Yeah, it seemed like it's not coming together quickly as we would anticipate it to, because like the daytime, and I don't know whether it's the winter time or not. Maybe that's got to do with it.
It could be.
I don't know. Summer was the same energy. It was going by really fast.
Yeah. I guess it's just giving us I'm here and I'm leaving vibes.
Yeah.
Not I'm here and I'm leaving.
It's like you better be intentional. You better be intentional or you're going to be checked up out of here.
Yeah, like seriously.
A lot of that going on. A lot of people are checking out, man. Like,
yeah, that is a very true statement. There's been a lot of I don't know. Life is just it's been different now. It's hard to kind of like put it into layman's terms, but life is very, very different now.
You want to know something funny, Coffee?
Talk to me, Vincent.
It's a conspiracy theory. So what me and Jason talked about this all the time.
Jason is a maximum conspiracy theorist.
Well, hey, me and Jay are on the same page because prior to COVID, it seemed like we went 15, 20 years ahead.
Yeah.
Like literally, it's like everything in the way we know from time to people.
Technology.
It's really bad, man. Like it's really fast forward. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, man.
Well, in the news, there has been an outbreak of the measles lately.
Again?
That's every.
Wow.
Well, your kids can't get vaccinated anymore, and even the ones that do, they over-vaccinate them.
Yeah. It's a lot going on with vaccinations and all those type of things. And then, of course, they have been kind of alluding to another pandemic.
Oh yeah,
which is the cousin to COVID. Allegedly, there's another viral that's they've been talking about and kind of like trying to downplay it a little bit, but they're saying that it causes system failure.
Sounds
And
familiar.
it's coming from bats.
Well, I'm not surprised. They've been trying to check people out quick, so
yeah.
And this one's gonna probably be called the goat flu. I mean, you know, all they're doing is naming animals and going down the line.
Yeah.
You know what? I can't with you.
Hey man, I heard you had that donkey flu, man. You know, donkey 19. You know.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. But yeah, seriously, I think it's a time to kind of really kind of stay focused on what you really need to be doing, seriously, and just kind of stay in your lane, drive your car in your lane, and just keep it moving for real, because things are happening and life is not only lifing, but it's going at such an accelerated speed that you can't catch up anymore. It's not a catch up. You got to stay in front as much as you possibly can. And another thing that's been going on here recently is the huge onset of these larger companies doing these massive layoffs and then attempting to blame it on AI. Now, in all my investigations with AI, there's literally, let me tell you, the reason why I know it's not AI is because of the fact of the need for AI people to work in the actual field. It is literally the #1 position in the world right now, as far as employment is concerned. And if AI were doing so much stuff, then why do y'all need all the people to work it? If it's already all this,
exactly,
then why do y'all need all these people to work it?
You're not making need a human to provide. Yeah.
Period. And for those that use ChatGPT, make certain that you understand how to turn off your content from it being used to actually support other people's content. Because if you're feeding ChatGPT content and you don't have it set to where it's not sharing with others, then all of the content that you're sharing on there is literally being used to add value to other people. Just so you know. So you need to learn how to fix your settings on there. It's a certain setting that you have to fix on there to keep it from actually being utilized to support other people's searches. So like you can't, if you're dumping stuff in there, you need to know how to make it personal to where it's not sharing your information. Because otherwise it is definitely sharing your information. Just FYI for all of you guys that use ChatGPT.
Good.
Wow.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm making GPT smarter, and then it's taking credit by helping other people on my content.
Exactly.
Correct. So you have
now the computers are stealing.
Engine, yeah.
Yeah, you have to go in and change the settings on there. So that it's not sharing your information. I learned that, I mean, being in the publisher space and kind of teaching people how to publish with AI and utilizing AI to publish, I had to, teach my clients, listen, if you don't want your information to be all over the universe that you're dumping in here, you're dumping all this stuff in here. And it's going somewhere else because you're literally, it's shareable. I mean, think about it. Think about it. It's the World Wide Web. It's another concept of the World Wide Web, and it's just open access unless you make it to where it does not share your information. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember you speaking about that when we did that anthology project, the first one. So
yeah,
I know now it's even more extensive, like the access that it have. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, and it's getting stronger and faster, and like if people don't, and it's certain things that I'm not giving y'all all the tea.
You know what? I think I might need to start tinkering around with ChatGPT.
Yeah, everybody in the inner circle, just holler at me. I'll give y'all the inner circle people. I give y'all the tea.
Yeah, I might start dabbling a little bit. Just a little bit.
I have to pay for all this stuff. I ain't giving out all this. I'm not giving out all the tea. So listen, we're tonight. Listen, I want you guys to kind of buckle your seatbelt because this is going to be an interesting conversation. It is so important that we understand this. So tonight's topic is partnerships and collaborations: who to build with and who to walk away from. Ooh. Listen, when you start really sitting down and thinking about this, you got to really understand what it really means when you get into these relationships with people. And one thing that I actually love about our shows is that we are partnering and we are collaborating. There's been other people that we vetted. Jason has been here the longest. He's been here since we started talk shows 8 years ago. And, there used to be times where we have these conference calls. I know, Jason, you probably remember this, where we would have conversations about certain individuals that, we would want to bring on the show. And they'd be like, you can't bring them on the show. Like, they can't come on here. What? No, you can not. And it would never be a judgmental thing. It would be literally that they kind of watch them as guests on the show, or when we would interview people. I don't know if you remember that, Jason, where we used to do like conference calls, like interviewing people and various personalities and intentionality and things like that. And we would get off and go through and just have the conversations after we would interview people, and we would discover, and it would be blind spots, because you got to remember, when you're collaborating and connecting with people, you have blind spots if you think you know them.
True.
And if you think you know them, you have serious unforeseen blind spots that could cause friction at another time. Jason, remember when we had that situation where we had a person on one of our projects that was trying to take the content and just go on with their life with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or the other ones that sit here and they portray themselves as one thing, then they get on here and all of a sudden they're a Rhodes Scholar, or, they want to try to take over the show. And, well, we was making fun of it earlier, just being silly and stuff. You talk to them on, outside of there, outside of this platform, and they sound hood as can be. Oh, man, you know what I'm saying, baby? This is what we going to do, and I got stuff to talk about. Then they get on the show and it's like, well, the theological theory of contemplation is, we're going to, and I'm like, who is this cat? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I thought especially when we had the other show.
Transformer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It was crazy too, because Jason was like, Koffe, you don't see that? And I was like, Jason, that's not true. And Jason was like, yes, it is true. Yeah.
It just took a matter of time before a few of them showed their true colors. Some of the prison and some of the other stuff started coming back out of some of these people.
You know what? You did not have to even say the prison, Jason.
Oh, wow.
I mean, we all got backgrounds. I mean, what I'm saying? I ain't perfect. Shoot, I'm far from it. That's why sometimes I sit here in silence.
But I think that's one thing that I love about our community that we created, is because we all have done extensive work, but we are also our authentic self. We're not afraid to be our authentic self, whether we're on the platform, we're in the community, or we're in our day-to-day life. We still our authentic self. We don't have to flip a switch on, turn it off, or put on because this person is going to be there or anything like that. That's what make us so close knit.
And I think too that we've gotten to a point where we've been able to be very forthcoming with each other too. When things go awry and something is not fitting or there's an issue, we have the bandwidth to be able to respectfully hash out indifferences without dissolving the whole entire partnership because of something that, maybe it's a misunderstanding, or we don't agree, or we don't align with something. We don't just fall apart because of it.
Right. But that comes with respect as well, and then, like you said, being authentic. When you show yourself to be who you really are, you're going to get judged immediately.
Yeah.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So when you show yourself one way and then your true self comes out, then basically you set yourself back, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But if you just be yourself, you come to a realization, and this is one of the strongest things I've learned about myself. I'm not for everybody.
Absolutely.
There's definitely times I'll show up at a place and I can immediately tell, just me walking in, my energy has upset the room. And I am perfectly okay with that.
I would agree, Jason. 100.
I mean, from the time I walk in.
That's why I think that we work so well together. Like
Right.
Koffe, she have that energy. I have that energy. Jason, when I met you in person, it was the same energy I got online, but it was more like dominant and up front, you know? So I think that's what works because we all are our authentic self and we don't care if somebody like it or don't like it, you know? We
Right.
show up and we're going to be who we are without putting on a front or a facade.
But that's also the reason you got to be careful in relationships, whether you're doing business with people. And even if you're doing business with people, you can be cordial, but there still has to be a certain level of respect. And you also have to know who it is that you're dealing with. Right. And I think that's where a lot of times we mess up because we look at certain people's success. And one of the first things we think is, I need to partner with this person because they have this success. I can see myself here and everything else. And then when you really get to know them and get around them, you start to realize that sometimes that success came on somebody else's backside.
Yes.
And if you have any kind of morality about you and accountability, you know, and respect, I'm not going to step on somebody else to be successful. Now, I will let somebody get under my foot and let me step on them, but I'm not going to purposely push them down there. You know what I mean? Now, if you put yourself in that position, but, you know, I'm not going to do somebody wrong to get success. I mean, let's both try to lift each other up. That's always been the kind of energy I'm on. But if I see that you're using me and taking from my energy for your success, then we need to realign some things, you know, using a car term there. You know, we're going to go in for a realignment and we're going to change some things. I know, I'm just saying, you got to make sure we're going straight, you know? But no, you really got to be careful with who you share your energy with because there's energy vultures out here and they will take your energy, drain you, talk down on you, and then they'll sit here and basically take over your life and keep moving on. You know, because I mean, if you look at some of these people who are successful and you look at where they started and where they are now, it's not even the same person. And granted, you're supposed to grow, but if you look at who was in their circle before they got real successful, you start realizing they became these other people. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
That means that's the lack of principles and a code, Jason. That's
correct.
What that means. Everybody don't have a principle and a code of ethics when they do business or even with relationships. And you can tell everybody who's successful in business is not successful outside of business.
Correct.
Because it's two different principles and ethics. And a lot of people mix them. Like you have green flags, you have red flags, and both of them. Yeah, this person is good to partnership with. They got a consistent form of communication. But on the other side, they don't have that in their personal life.
Yeah.
Very true.
And guess what? I show you somebody that's successful in business. I guarantee you, a lot of them, their personal life suffers.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But those are conversations that they don't tell you or talk about. And here's the bad thing about it. Eventually, that other side filters over.
Correct.
So it has to be a balance. It has to be a balance.
There's a book called The Millionaire Mind. It's by, I forgot, Dr. Thomas something. I can't think his last name, but he did a survey of it was right around 1,200 documented millionaires. They were from CEOs to traditional businesses, from direct sales, it just didn't matter. And what out of that 1,200, there was only 100 of the 1,200 who suggested that no one was there supporting their journey to become millionaires. The interesting part about that was that out of all those individuals, 1,000 of them, like 1,000 and something, like maybe 1,040 or something like that, all agreed that if it had not been for either a partnership, a spouse, or someone actually being there to help them to maintain that harmony, then they definitely would not have had the level of successes that they have had. And kind of just to piggyback on what Vincent was saying, it's not necessarily dysfunctionality more so than it is an imbalance. And sometimes people just have to understand if I'm chasing something hard enough in a specific area, there is going to be another area that's not going to have the level of oxygen that I'm giving to this area. And it's just, you only have so much energy as a humanoid to be able to give to a certain area or a certain intentionality. And so you always have to come to the realization that if I'm going to put this kind of oxygen into this area, I'm gonna need support in that area. It's kind of like, you know, when my children, when their dad passed away, it was at a time when literally I was on the road all the time, had a lot going on, and was getting ready to really kind of spread my wings and get back in the studio, do an album. It was a lot going on at the time. And I remember my coach at the time, he said something to me candid. He said, "You're going to miss your children's lives if you think you're going to keep pursuing what you're pursuing without a partner. It's not going to work." He was like, "You literally have got to stop. I know that you don't want to stop, but you're going to have to stop because you're going to miss your children's lives. They already lost their dad. It's no need of them being in the household with you and they never have their mom." And it was crazy because in my mind's eye, I still wanted to pursue what I was after. You know, I was in medical school. I had great things that were happening, and they were happening in specific specific layers. It wasn't out of order or out of sequence. I had a partner at the time, right? So because I had a partner and my partner wanted to be home, he didn't want to be on the road. And he gave me his blessing, like, go and do it. Because he had already gotten his master's and the things that he wanted to accomplish as far as from that standpoint. But, you know, I had the babies first and then had to go on the back end and do the rest of the work that I wanted to do. The thing about it was I just had to come to that realization. And that was a hard thing to accept. I think when it comes to collaborations and partnerships, another thing is to understand when is it time to accelerate or when is it time to just leave it alone so that it doesn't derail the whole entire purpose.
Yeah.
Because that's what you don't want to find happen, is that your whole purpose ends up being derailed to the point where, you know, you're attempting to rebuild a life that could have been salvaged had you just said, you know what, let me go ahead and retreat intentionally instead of making life force me to retreat.
You know, I think that as a entrepreneur or someone that's self-employed, and you have goals and you have vision and you have determination, willpower, you committed and you dedicated, you have the discipline and you show up. As you're on that journey and you start to pick up traction, you start to build momentum, your vision can get a bit blurry when you're getting so many offers, so many people, "Oh, I want to collab," or "I want to partner, I want to do this, I want to do that." And even for myself, I experienced it working with different brands that want to work with me, and it sound good, especially when you get a big brand that wants to collab with you, but it's like, but that don't match my lifestyle or my brand. Why would I partner with this type of brand if I'm all about health and wellness? It don't make sense, right? So as we never navigate our journey to success or our journey of success, you have to be mindful of the offers you get, because yes, some of them may be real shiny and gold and may seem really exciting, or the opportunity you've been waiting for, or the one that's going to take you to the next level, but you never know what's behind it. You never know how that one collaboration can either show that your audience that you're not trustworthy, or show that you really don't believe in yourself enough to say no. We feel like we have to take these offers because it's an offer, it's an opportunity. But the more that you stay in alignment with what it is that you desire, your goal, your vision, your passion, everything else is going to come. But you have to be willing to say no. And that's to the people, to the big brands, to the money. It comes in all shapes and sizes. But if you don't have discernment, you'll just be out here accepting anything.
Yeah,
and that's part of the challenge.
Go ahead. Sure. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's part of the challenge, because if you listen to the music and the culture and how things have shifted, like Vincent said, even before COVID, but especially since COVID, we push money so much to where that's what the first thing is that they throw at you. Is they're like, well, if I want to get you to maneuver from here to here and go against who you really are, I'm gonna toss a whole bunch of money at you. You got to be strong enough to say no. It's like DePrio was saying, stick to your goals and everything. You heard her say money, and how even though they gave her these offers, and I'm sure those offers to support those brands came with a dollar sign attached to them, but it didn't align with her goals and where she was headed. And that took strength, knowing that, you know, you got responsibilities at the house to say, nah, I'm going to go ahead and pass on this one. And I wish a lot more people out there would actually say no. You know, you hear about these rappers, you think everybody's balling, you think everybody's rich, and really and truly, most of these people are broke. They are flashy and they have popularity, but they chased money, they got away from themselves. Now they're empty and they don't know who they are or where they're headed.
You know, I was talking to one of my business partners earlier today, and they were sharing with me how the organization, the brand that they represent, how the partnership that brand had, they stopped paying them.
Mm-hmm.
And just think about it. If you invest and you put all of your resources into this particular entity, and next thing you know, you've got employees and individuals that you got to take care of off the strength of an agreement you've made with them, and then they stop paying. Then now you're stuck holding the bag, and you got to deal with the fact that I've made a commitment to these individuals that I was going to take care of them and compensate them and make sure their families were okay. You know, I had another friend of mine who literally had to take her compensation. She had to go home and talk to her husband and say, hey, for a minute, I'm not going to get paid. I got to make sure my people get compensated because now I messed around and lost a contract, you know, and it happens. And then you have collaborations to where things don't follow through the way that they should. And somebody needs to be reimbursed. And, you know, Jason, you know, we went through that with the situation that happened a couple of years ago. And
Absolutely.
To this day, I never got my money back. And I put 5 figures in that out of my own pocket to make sure that particular event happened, you know, and then life happened and it was an emergency out of my control. And that individual still to this day, we can't even find them.
Wow.
Right.
I don't get the resources, you know, get the capital back that, you know, we invested up front, you know, so that's another thing too, when it comes to being out, having your own brand, having your own label, going through the processes. It's a learning process, and it takes time. You're going to make bad choices. You're going to. It's a part of the process. Literally,
you can't win without a loss. Absolutely.
Yeah,
The prayer had made a good point earlier, Koffe, about brand versus you. It makes you really wonder when they throwing these dollar signs at you, or they throwing it because of the value of you or the value of what you represent, which is your brand.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people, they lose themselves thinking they got a mixed view of, okay, the brand is me. No, it's not. That's why they have copyright laws. Depending on who it is, like you saying, Jason, with a lot of these rappers with the contracts, they own that name.
Mm-hmm. And your likeness.
Yes.
That means a lot. Your likeness.
Yeah. Anything related to you, commercial wise, paraphernalia, any of that they own.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful about, you know, I consult with people all the time about that. Make sure you have your paperwork in order as far as legal paperwork when it comes to any collaboration and any partnership, and that you dig deep into that information. You know, if you have to hire an attorney, I got one on retainer, literally, because you need to understand the language that's in a lot of these actual agreements. If you don't understand the language, you could be tying yourself to something you won't be able to get out of. Or, you know, like a couple years ago, there was an agreement for a company that was looking to partner with us. And inside the language clearly stated that if we decided to exit the partnership, or if we decided to market outside of their specific brand with another brand identity in the same field, that we would have to pay them all the money back that they gave us. All of it.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, I said,
that's
crazy.
Oh, wow.
You know, and then there's in certain direct sales companies, no joke, you cannot market certain aspects of your social. If you decide you're going to market their brand on social media, you can't market anything else on that specific page, or they'll shut you down. Now, if I've created all this on one, you know, Jason, when I was with that other organization and I called you about that, and you was like, well, you're gonna have to stop doing business with them. What you gonna do?
Right.
And let me tell y'all, I literally spent that 1 year when I first launched that particular business, this was right around COVID time. It was right around COVID time. I invested $20,000 that year into that company. I got my investment back. I literally broke even by the end of that year. But I was so frustrated because now I had all this inventory from that company. And now I can't push it because now you're saying I can't push any other brand identity on my page outside of your brand. That's stupid.
Right. Yep.
That's like them coming in and literally trying to own your voice, your platform.
They lock you in.
Control of the whole thing. Yeah, like
I
built this and you want to take over it in order for us to have a partnership.
It was bananas. I get the fact that you're saying, you know, refrain from, you know, having another product that would compete with ours.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me not to run a whole different type of business. That's crazy. It don't have nothing to do with you. There's no conflict of interest.
Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
And I invested all that money. You know, like I said, I broke even, but nonetheless, it was still a loss because I'm stuck with all this. I was stuck with so much inventory.
Wow.
And I had to get rid of it. And of course, when you're getting rid of inventory and you have a lot of inventory, you have to end up selling it for pennies on the dollar. Because I didn't have time to wait to get 9 million people. You know what I mean? I didn't have the waiting game to do it the actual real way. And then, of course, again, the company kind of made it to where it was almost impossible to be able to do it. So,
and you weren't the only one they did it to either.
Oh, they did it to a lot of people. They did it to a lot of people. You have to really understand who you're dealing with, why you want to deal with them, the impact of what it's going to, the impact of how it's going to reflect on you in the big picture thinking. And if that impact is going to be something that you can be at peace with, whatever that means.
Yeah,
if you're going to be at peace with it, then if you're going to be at peace with it, then pursue it. If you're uncertain that if you're going to be at peace with it, then don't pursue it. And another thing I'm saying, I'm going to give it back to you guys, is if you are a spiritual person, make sure you align yourself with your spiritual guide, whoever you subscribe to. I subscribe to Christ. So whoever you subscribe to, lean into your spirituality to ask for guidance. For guidance. Yeah. There will be so many different things that will gear you, you know, that shifts you in the right direction. I mean, it could be something so profound as you go outside and you just so happen to see a bird and a bird is doing something peculiar. You go, wait a minute. You know, wait a minute. Hold on. That goes along with, oh, there it is. There's my answer. You know, or you could, I mean, and I noticed, and I know one thing from being a parent, a lot of times when I needed answers, it came through my children. It would come through my children in one way, shape, or form. My children would answer the question that I would have. I would ask the Holy Spirit to lead me, like, please tell me if this is a good decision. Am I making a decision that is reflecting what I believe, or is this just my nature? I'm just, you know, it's just my nature to make this decision. And the answer would come through my children in so many different instances, and I'd be like, wow, just wow.
Kyle, the universe reaching out to you. Kyle is answering.
Yeah.
Your family was your grounding. And that was the other message you was talking about earlier when they said you're going to miss them growing up, because that was your grounding and your purpose, at least at that time, was to raise your kids.
Absolutely. And, you know, Joyce Myers, interestingly enough, Joyce Myers was, and this was when Yasmin was 3. No joke. I was literally in my room trying to figure out, like, what was my next step as far as business was concerned. And she was like talking about that as far as family was concerned. And who would have thought that 5 years later, there, you know, my spouse would have passed away. Like 5 years after I heard that sermon. And she was talking about times and seasons and talking about parenting. And she was saying how a lot of times And she wasn't making it gender specific. She was saying everybody has to sacrifice when parenting happens. Everybody. It's not just, you know, we kind of hone in on moms and we kind of give them more credit when it comes to parenting, but a lot of people don't realize the other aspect of it that the men experience that they're not vocal about it like we are.
We definitely experience it, but you know, in society, a lot of times when we have certain concerns, you know, it's that people don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's fine. But I mean, really and truly, you said a lot of powerful things. I just want to make sure that we're reiterating what it is that you're saying. You're talking about family and how your family was your ground, and you're talking about how other people spoke life into your life, and all you needed was the right message and everything, you know, to show you what you had right in front of you. And that happens to a lot of us. Unfortunately, a lot of us choose to ignore it, you know. And then you was also talking about how business, you know, the negative aspect of it that came, you know, with the ownership and the control. And the craziest part about it, let's just keep it a buck. The only time that kind of stuff happens is when you're successful. If you wouldn't have been successful, they'd have never paid attention to you, would have never tried to ask you to shut down any other venture that you may have had going on. But because you were successful, you know, they were worried that your focus might change over here and it might take money out of their pocket. They didn't care about that control until you became successful. If you was one of these little Rudy Poos over here that maybe made a couple $100 every 2, 3, 4 months, I mean, that's still success. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not belittling it. But when what ended up happening is you were successful enough to end up on their radar.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
because you ended up on that radar, now all of a sudden they had to put clamps on you. So I mean, that's kudos to you and everything, but it also showed that other company for who they really were.
Yeah,
And you
it
know what
wasn't
their
so.
actual intent was. Their intent wasn't just to make money; it was about control.
They were going to try to strong. They were literally going to strong arm you,
Right?
and pull you in to do what they need for you to do,
But just
and lock you in.
that's what they do. That's what they do to these influencers that don't
Right.
know their worth, don't know their value that they actually bring. Like, it takes somebody to actually know the power, the impact that they have for them to not allow things like that to happen. Like I mentioned before, I get a lot of emails for brands and people sending me stuff or wanting to partner with me, but I don't answer majority of them. If I don't feel like it's in alignment with my true destiny and purpose, I'm not doing it. And of course,
Yep.
like Jason and Coffee said, you're going to have those moments where you are faced at that crossroad and you have to make a decision to either say no or know that this is really, truly divinely led. And it's not going to be easy by far. It's not going to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it, you know? If it was easy, everybody will make the right decision when it comes to collaborations and partnerships. Every person who is successful have had a bad partnership, has had a poor collaboration. Everyone have experienced it. And if you haven't experienced it yet, you're due for it.
Oh yeah.
You're due.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, Jason, it's funny because Jason will often say, I'm not being negative, I'm being realistic. And he would say, like, you know, you're gonna have to look for the darkness inside of this light. You got all this light, but there's some dark somewhere, and you need to make sure you're aware of what's gonna be dark. It can't just all be light. It's not gonna be all rainbows and lollipops. You're gonna have to make sure you're aware.
All light casts a shadow. All light.
Yeah. And you know, like
that's 100% true.
The hardest collaboration that we did was when that individual popped up, you know, and I remember calling my attorney and was like, you know, this right here is going to turn into a big mess if we don't get this under control real quick. And you know, he was telling me, he said, you're in growing pains, and this is another way that you learn how to be effective in business by things like this happening. He said, just think if this if this didn't show up and it showed up 5 years from now, it wouldn't be so easy to just be able to say, oh, I can fix this. He was like, it wouldn't have been as easy to say, I can fix this.
It'd have been a bigger problem.
Right now. Yeah. He was like, it would have been a much bigger problem. You know, even the language in our agreements and all kind of collaboration stuff. He was like, now you know, this is what you need to do, but you would have never known that had this not happened. So you should be grateful that it happened and grateful for when it happened. So this way you understand and you're crystal clear that when things arise and they show up, it's a part of the process. You gotta roll with it and understand, like Vincent said, every light, it casts a shadow. So you gotta be okay with that darkness being there. It's the balance of life. If we didn't have the night, the earth would never get a chance to cool off.
Yeah.
And it would literally self-destruct because it never got a chance to cool. Apostle John Eckhart said something the other day. He was talking about ice. And, he was talking about this scripture that was about ice. And he was saying there's sometimes in your life where it's just cold. It's not a lot of traction, not a lot going on. It's just a winter season in your life. And he was talking about how when you need to learn how to handle that winter season. It's kind of like that shadow. You got to learn how to handle that winter season. So when spring shows up, you'll be ready for those blooms and those new flowers that's coming out and all of that stuff. But if you don't handle the winter season right, then things are not going to come alive again like they need to.
Yeah. You said something early, Koffe, that was when you were talking about like you were outside and a bird or something reminded you of something. Some of your greatest gains comes from those troubled times.
Absolutely.
Because you get isolated. And
Absolutely.
Your focus changes. That's why meditation is important. That's why detaching. Yeah, and I'm a firm believer that, man, some of your greatest gains comes from isolation, sometimes failures, because you do self-reflection.
You can't grow without struggle and challenge. So if you ever experienced a struggle or a challenge, when are you actually growing? When are you actually building that muscle, working that muscle towards, getting strength and resilient? Like what Koffe was saying, I think that the more that we learn how to navigate our life in season, the easier or the more balance we find. And maybe about 3 years ago, I started to pay attention to it more. I wasn't like where I am now. Now I live my life in the season. So fall and winter, I'm more so laid back. I'm preparing, I'm learning, I'm nurturing my body, my spirit, those things, preparing for springtime. Springtime is the new year because that's when everything starts to bloom and you have your harvest and you have your quote unquote winning season. That's when you're supposed to shine in the brightest. But if you're not living your life in those seasons, you're out of balance. Even when it comes to summertime, what should you be doing this summertime? I live my life like that. Summertime, the kids are out of school. I'm a little bit more, okay, I want to watch some TV because wintertime, I'm learning. I'm, more so focused on building, preparing for my harvest. But summertime, I'm more relaxed, laid back. Let's go have some fun. I want to be outside. I want to, but I live in the season. At nighttime, things of that sort. Being a responsible adult requires you to actually take every aspect of your life serious. That's your mind and body. Things get easier the more that you prepare for an easier life. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard.
One of my favorite things I like to tell people, or I should say remind them, is that something just to keep in mind. Nobody, when they was 1-2 years old, woke up one day, got up and ran across the room. Everybody had to start crawling somewhere. Everybody skint their knees. Everybody got up, used the couch as support. You know what I'm saying? For those that have kids, you know what I'm talking about. And a lot of us actually crawled what? Backwards. Before we ever started crawling forward. So as a baby, you was crawling backwards, and then you look at where your life is now and all the positive stuff, that you have going on in your life now. That means that you've overcome stuff throughout your whole entire life. What the heck makes you think that you're not going to have some adversities for you to go from where you are now to the next step, whether it's in your relationship, your business, etc.? So as a baby, you did not just get up one day and just had greatness and ran across that dorm room. You actually had to have some challenges. So look forward to having challenges. I look forward to this stuff. I don't go looking for them, but I look forward to them. I know that they're coming. You know what I mean?
But Jay, people run from that. Koffe said something
Crazy.
about, and I've seen this with people in business and in relationships. Soon as that fire gets under their feet, they want to dissolve it immediately, and that's when you shouldn't do it. You should try to see, okay, what can we do to change this? What approaches can we do? And just because we have an agreement does not mean that I still don't want to partner with you.
Correct.
That's in business and in a relationship. People run from it like they have this elephants and pink butterfly mentality about life on all aspects. Like it's supposed to be perfect all the time. No, it does not. Because guess what? What happened? And Dupree, I'm taking a page from what you just said. What happens before something gets beautiful? It has to be killed and die. That's why we had a change in the season.
Yeah.
Spring is beautiful because guess what? It was killed prior to that in winter. So it can grow back and rebuild. So you have your ups and downs in businesses and relationships, but you build on it. That's when you should come together. Hey man, we need to do this together. I know me and Jada have been mad at each other plenty of times. Guess what?
Knockout, drag out, homie.
Still love him like a brother. Ain't went nowhere. And what is over 20 years now?
Shit, 30.
Yeah. So
30 years, yeah.
That's both of y'all crazy.
I met him 30 years ago. This year, about 30 years ago.
We met doing
95.
Doing an argument. That's when we met. Yeah.
During the argument.
Was
talking noise to each other.
Doing the argument. That's when we met. And guess what?
And not necessarily because we had an issue with each other. It was a lot of it was the people around us and our close proximity to each other. And you know, yeah.
So
that confirms my suspicions. Cray.
The differences pushed us closer together, and it's been like that ever since. 30 years later.
You know, yeah, man.
See, I like my circle small. I want quality. I ain't worried about quantity.
Thank you.
Think about people out there in the TV world. Listen,
because quality lasts. Quantity, you just run through it.
Over quantity. Yeah. That go with everything.
Because
so
that
if you got
quantity start breaking.
Yeah, because you got
intimacy is supposed to be qualitative. It's the word intimate. I mean, it's supposed to be qualitative. If it's too many voices that have an opportunity to impact, then you're gonna get infected at some point. There's gonna be an infestation somewhere, and next thing you know, you got rodents in your life, literally.
Come on, rodents.
Relationships, it has to be intimate.
Yeah,
intimate.
True. I mean, it's very true.
Yeah.
You know,
and then you have to coordinate.
When you talk about an inner circle, you got to really think about, at the end of the day, who do I really want to know me for real, that could literally take this information that they know and totally use it against me.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has the proclivity to become a Judas in your camp. Truth be told, everybody has the proclivity to become a Judas. And you have to say to yourself, if this person became a Judas in my camp, am I going to be okay with the fact that they know this information about me that could be to my demise or to my detriment ultimately?
Yeah.
And you gotta weigh that and say, you know, it's a checks and balance thing at that point. I mean, and you know, when it comes to business and partnerships, there's some collaborations that are very shallow. There's not a lot of intimate origin into it. A lot of information is not being shared. It's super shallow. You get in, you do the collab, you go on with your life. And there's other times where there's a lot that's invested, and it's a lot that goes into it to where it could just really be a burden and not a blessing. And you got to be meticulous. You got to be very meticulous in how to execute partnerships, why you want to execute partnerships. It's safety in the multitude of wise counsel, meaning you know, ask some people that have already been where you are, especially if you have access to those individuals. You know, ask them, hey, is this it? You know, what is your thought? You're a third party, you're non-biased, you don't know. I'm giving you the details of what I'm looking at doing. What is your thought about this? Am I making a wise choice? You know, I'm to the point now where whenever I start sharing about business stuff, I put everybody on the NDA. I'm not telling you nothing until we got something in writing where I'm protecting and preserving my brand and you protect and preserve yours. Because you never know at the end of the day what intentions are. Everybody says what their intentions are, and we so hope that what is being said is accurate, but you just don't know at the end of the day. You could give somebody think about all these inventors that are foremothers that had these amazing ideas and all these inventions, and they shared that with the wrong person. They took the information and became totally free, liberated financially on the back of somebody else's brilliance. And you gotta be wise. You know, it's another scripture that says, "Be wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove." I mean, do you understand how wise a snake is? A snake got a lot of sense. I mean, if you really sit and you study a snake, a lion, any kind of predatory creature, they got to be real smart in order to be able to prey on something that literally will not survive past that encounter. They got to be brilliant.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
They got to be brilliant. You know, a friend of mine, you know, because we got a few minutes. A friend of mine, she literally, interesting, true story. She literally had to make sure that her dog, she's like a toy. I forgot what kind of dog. It's a real pretty little toy dog. And she said literally the hawks sit on her roof. She showed me pictures. The hawks sit on her roof waiting to capture that dog.
Wow.
I was like, think about how smart that is. That's brilliant. You're gonna sit at my house to attack. You're gonna
just waiting on you to turn your back for a second.
That's how it is. They be right there in the room with you.
I'm gonna catch you.
About to tear you up.
I'm coming to your address to bring harm to you. I gotta get close to you to be able to attack you.
That's crazy. And just waiting on you to make one mistake, and they're gonna swoop down and they go that dog.
As soon as you get comfortable, you let that guard down. Oh yeah.
That's why you gotta use wisdom in your endeavors, people. Like, you know, partnerships and collaborations, those can be some of the most fantastic times of your life, or they can cause you to just say, you know what, to hell with this. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to just work for somebody. I ain't doing nothing else to where I got to deal with this kind of opposition. I can't even foresee myself doing this twice. You know, so you really got to understand, and you got to do the work to understand your personality, your strengths, and your weaknesses. And you got to understand how somebody can gain access to what are your openings to where somebody can gain access to you emotionally. You got to know what causes you to become emotionally bonded. You got to understand that. No way around it.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking at you. That's a heck of a period. Hey, what needs to be said? I mean, you know, we dropping nuggets, man. We dropping some serious nuggets this evening.
This evening.
Yeah, that's some good stuff, because our shows, we have shared so much, from healing, you know, trauma, to business and resources. We have shared so much. But this right here, you can have all the resources, you can have the knowledge, you can be healthy, but that does not keep you from being preyed on. That does not keep you safe from these things happening to you. It happens. But if you're not aware of what you're existing in and who you are and what you want to exist in with the right type of energy, it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
It has happened to me many of times. Okay.
Listen,
yeah. So
you gotta be resilient. You gotta be resilient. You gotta be able to. Yeah. I mean, and the only way you can really be resilient is literally how are you treating your body temple? your mind. What are you, how are you resting? Are you exercising? You gotta be able to withstand opposition by how you're taking care of you. If you don't have a strong mind, your body is out of whack, you eating anything and everything, you're not focused on how to take care of yourself, you literally will be a open orifice for cancerous connections. Like it's, like you're just gonna be open prey for somebody to say, "Oh yeah, I can definitely get in there. I can definitely manipulate them. Oh yeah, I know I can get in there and do some damage." So, the stronger that you are mentally, the healthier that you are physically, the more guided that you are spiritually and aware and awake and alert, the better decisions that you'll make when it comes to partnerships. And even if you do have, a hiccup where you don't make the best choice, or the partnership that you thought would work, it turns out it doesn't, you'll be able to recover easily.
Yeah.
And you won't be attached to it.
I was just about to say that. And if you are somebody who is still sitting at the stop sign thinking it's a red light because something happened, you got to pick yourself up and keep going. But you need to reevaluate some things. It's okay to fall, but are you going to stay down? Are you going to allow yourself to be defeated just because something didn't pan out the way that you thought it should, or it didn't look the way you thought it should? You got to keep going. You could take as many L's as possible, but those W's are waiting.
The W's are looking for you for sure.
They looking for you.
The W's are looking for you.
But you got to work through them L's to get to the
You got to work through the L's. You got to work through the L's, and you got to make the decisions and the choices that would best meet your needs over time. So, you can't be selfish, but you got to be selfish.
Yes.
It's a two-way street with that word selfish.
Wow, it's funny you said that. I told that to my son earlier this week. It's okay to have selfishness for self. Correct. Especially where you are in your particular part of life. It's that is truly okay.
Yeah, you got to preserve you. If you don't, nobody else gonna do it for you. And nobody
to say you have people out there, Koffe, like you were saying, they're so meticulous and have a gift for finding you at your weakest state. They study you, like that hawk that you were talking about. They literally watch you, and they want to create. And this goes for businesses and relationships. These traumatic or trauma bonding situations, and it happens, and they catch you where I know you're going through something, whether it's business or relationship. I can do this. I can provide this friendship, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. Guess what? No. You have to be a student of yourself. Meaning, like Dupree was saying, you owe that to yourself as a true adult. True adulting means looking at everything. If you know it's an aspect that you weak in, take the time to build it up. There's nothing wrong with that, man. And some of us, we focus on our bodies when you should be focusing on your mind. Some of us focus on our mind when you should focus on your body. It's all aspects of something that you should focus on. And definitely the mental clarity part of it, if that mental is not focused, it don't matter what you do to that body. And if the soul is not good, the mind is not going to follow, neither the body. I would quote something else, but I can't do it. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, don't say it.
Man, come on, man. Speak your truth.
Dude, I'm not going to say that. And Koffe, I think Koffe know where I was going.
Pop, lock, and drop it, cuz.
Don't do it. Don't do it, son.
But if she's thinking like I'm thinking, this is how those things happen. People get in your mind. If they can get in your mind, the rest will follow. For those who know what I'm quoting, you know where that come from. Yeah. But yeah, man, I truly agree with that one. 100%, man. You have to have that grounding moment. You have to.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people really need to do, is really and truly is just go back and get grounded. Where's your nucleus? Where's your circle?
Yeah.
You can't have a house, you can't have a bunch of success without a strong foundation. If you don't have that foundation, I don't care how powerful you think you are and what social media makes you think that you really have going on, you're going to crumble if you don't have a strong foundation. You're going to hit that ground, and when you hit it, good luck.
Yeah.
You better hope that foundation is still around. So, you know, you can crap on your friends and everything if you want to, but those are the people who actually molded you to be who it is that you are.
Me and Jay talk about some of our classmates and stuff from back in the day.
Man,
a lot about how a lot of them have lost themselves due to financial gains, whatever the case may be. But you forgot who you really were, who was there when you first started, and that's important, man. Just like for fellas that's out there, you got a solid, good woman, and you by chance blow up in something, and she was there when you didn't have as much. You're supposed to do right by her. You can trust her. It's the new one that you're gonna have a problem with.
Thank you.
The same way with women. You that man was there for you. He was solid, but you've gained and moved up, and he might not be there. He may be playing a different role, but he's that support system that you don't see. He's blocking what you can't see.
You worried about that new sitting here trying to ask you to pay a bill, and they don't even know your middle or last name.
It's always the punch that you don't see that knocks you out. That's and that's in boxing. They say that all the time. It's the one you don't see that catch you off guard.
Message.
Well, y'all, this has been an absolutely epic show, and our time is up, man. Powerful conversation. Love to be in the studio with these amazing thought leaders. So listen, remember, love yourself and love on somebody else. Do the right thing so that you can get those results to show back up at your address when you need them to show up. We appreciate you guys tapping in and tuning in. We'll see you guys for another edition of the P. Koffe Brown Show. Stay up and do the right thing, y'all. And we'll catch y'all next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Peace.